All right, let's take a look at minor chord shapes in my book Chord Shapes for Jazz Guitar. So if you get over to that section, you'll notice everything's in the key of D minor. And as I mentioned earlier, I've written down, what the names of these voicings are, but even more important than that from a improvisational standpoint is to get familiar with the shape and how it sounds. After you play it enough, your ear will your brain and your ear and your fingering will instinctively grab one of these. And it's not important when you're in the midst of improvising. As long as it's a D minor and it's some form of a D minor, it's not going to be critical that you play a D minor 11th or a D minor 7th or a D minor 9th. They're all going to work. So what you want to do is make the association with the sound and the physical shape of the chord. So as you look at these chords, the top one on the upper left-hand corner is a D minor. You can see the fingerings in the photographs and get all that information from the page. But I'll play how they sound. There's the D minor 9th. Here's our D minor 7th, our D minor 11th. Here's another D minor 7th, and another one, and all of those you can see are very similar. Moving on to the next page, we've got a D minor 4th, a little more open sounding. Here's a D minor 7th, and there's another one. Here's a D minor 6th. Here's a D minor 7th, a D minor 9th, an open sounding one. That was that page. Moving on to the next page, here's a D minor 6th, D minor 11th, D minor 7th, D minor 7th, there's a D minor 6th, D minor 9th. I'm going through these fast, but I'm going to talk about it and give you some examples as we get a little further along. Here's a D minor 9th stretched out. That's like the same as this on a different part of the neck with the bass strings. Here's another D minor 9th, D minor 7th, D minor 4th, D minor 11th, and etc. So now what happens is if I become familiar with these chords, maybe not all of them, but some of the most, the ones that appeal to your ear, it's going to create a picture across the neck so that if I'm playing a D minor, I don't just go to the 5th fret. I know that I have a D minor, some D minor chords up in this region, some down here. So if I were playing a song like Freddie Hubbard's Little Sunflower, and it's just a vamp in D minor, I can move these chords around things like that, and I can use different voicings and my neck becomes connected. So that's the idea behind this book. Minor 7 flat 5s, I've got some different voicings. There's a couple, and then here's another one, and here's another one. A minor 7 major 7 is kind of a strange sounding chord. There are here's a couple different voicings of the same 4 notes. A lot of these chords become other chords depending on how they are placed within a chord sentence or within a chord progression. So don't get too hung up on the names. If you can get to the place where you can recognize the sound it's going to be much more powerful from an improvisational standpoint. So there's a look at the minor chord section, and there will be some more information as well.